Namaskar. Today we are going to discuss Unit 13. In this unit, we will be discussing the categories of Dravya, Guna and Samanya of Vaisheshika philosophy. Now this unit has been divided into two parts, Part 1 and Part 2. And today we are going to discuss only the Part 1 of the unit, okay? So, in Part 1 of Vaisheshika philosophy of Dravya, Guna and Samanya, we will first have a brief introduction of Vaisheshika philosophy. Here we will know what is Vaisheshika philosophy, who is the founder of Vaisheshika philosophy. So here we will have just a brief introduction of the system. After that, we are going to discuss the relation between Nyaya and Vaisheshika philosophy. That is, the similarities and the differences between Nyaya and the Vaisheshika philosophy. Okay, because when we say that about a school, we always say that Sankhya philosophy accepts this or Vedanta philosophy accepts that. But when we say about Nyaya and Vaisheshika, the Nyaya Vaisheshika always comes together. Nyaya Vaisheshika view, isn't it? So what is the relation between these two schools or two philosophies, Nyaya and Vaisheshika? The similarities and differences between them, we are going to discuss about them. After that, we are going to discuss the meaning of category, that is Padartha. What do we mean by category or Padartha? Then we will mention the different types of category according to the Vaisheshika. So Vaisheshika admits of 7 categories, and what are those 7 categories? What are the different types of categories mentioned by the Vaisheshika philosophy? We are going to discuss all those. After that, we are going to have a discussion on Dravya as a category. Here we will explain what do we mean by Dravya. Okay, what do we mean by Dravya as a category? Then we will have a discussion on different types of Dravyas. Okay, there are 9 kinds of Dravyas. So we will have a discussion on these 9 types of Dravyas. And after that, we are going to discuss the proofs for the existence of Manas as a substance. So Manas is one type of Dravya or substance. Okay, now how the existence of this Manas or mind is proved, okay, we are going to discuss on it. So first, we are going to discuss on what do we mean by Vaisheshika philosophy. Now, the Vaisheshika system is one of the Astika school of Indian philosophy. We all know Astika and Nastika Indian philosophy is divided into 2 schools, Astika philosophy and Nastika philosophy. And Astika and Nastika doesn't mean believe in God or not believing in God in Indian philosophy, okay? In Indian philosophy, Astika means those who believe in the authoritativeness of the Vedas are Astikas, and those who do not believe in the authoritativeness of the Vedas are the Nastika schools. And Vaisheshika philosophy or the Vaisheshika system is one of the Astika school of Indian philosophy. Okay? Now, within the Astika schools also, there are divisions. That is, some schools within the Astika, some schools within the Astika philosophy, their philosophy is totally based on the Vedas. Within the systems of Astika school, some systems, their philosophy is totally based on the Vedas, and some schools, they believe in the Vedas, they believe in the authoritativeness of the Vedas, but they have their own thoughts, okay? They have their own thoughts, their philosophy is not directly based on the Vedas. And Vaisheshika philosophy is not totally based on the Vedas. They try to show the harmony of their own thoughts with that of the Vedas. Okay? Now, the word Vaisheshika, from where the word Vaisheshika has been derived? The word Vaisheshika is derived from Vishesha. And Vishesha means particularity or distinguishing features. And Vaisheshika philosophy, it emphasizes that diversity is the soul of the universe. In this universe, there are diversity. And if there is diversity, then only we can constitute reality. Okay? So diversity is the soul of this universe. Now, who was the founder of this Vaisheshika system? Very important things when we are going through a school of Indian philosophy, the first and foremost thing you need to know are whether it belongs to Astika or Nastika school. Then you should know that who is the founder of that school, and you all should know the text, the main text of that school. Okay, so the Vaisheshikha system was founded by Konada. He was also known as Uluka Kashyapa. So the Vaisheshikha philosophy is also known as the Konada or Aulukya system. And the first systematic work of the Vaisheshikha philosophy is the Vaisheshikha Sutra of Konada. Okay, so the main text, the first systematic work of Vaisheshikha philosophy is the Vaisheshikha Sutra, and it was written by Konada. Now, come to the relation between Nyaya and the Vaisheshikha philosophy. How they are similar and how they are different. First, we are going to discuss the similarities between the Nyaya and the Vaisheshikha philosophy. The first one is, both Nyaya and Vaisheshikha have the same end in view, namely liberation of the individual self. So both the systems have the same end in view. They believe in the liberation of the individual self. Secondly, according to both the schools, ignorance is the root cause of all pain and sufferings. Okay? According to Nyaya and Vaisheshikha, ignorance is the main root cause of all our pains and sufferings in this world. We are ignorant, so we suffer from pains and sufferings. Thirdly, both the schools holds that liberation is to be attained through a right knowledge of reality. When we will have a right knowledge of the reality, then only we could attain liberation. Okay? And both the schools are similar in these views. Now, what are the differences between these two schools of thought? Nyaya accepts 4 independent sources of knowledge, namely perception, inference, comparison, and testimony. But the Vaisheshikha recognizes only 2, namely perception and inference. So, in total, in Indian philosophy, we have 6 independent sources of knowledge. So, from the 6, Nyaya accepts 4, but the Vaisheshikha accepts only 2. Okay, only perception and inference are accepted by the Vaisheshikha philosophy as the independent sources of knowledge. The second differences between these two schools are, the Nyayikas gives a list of 16 padarthas, which according to them cover the whole of reality. So according to the Nyayikas, the whole reality constitutes of 16 padarthas, that is categories. The Vaisheshikas, on the other hand, recognizes only 7 padarthas, which constitutes the whole reality. Okay, so the Vaisheshika system, it recognizes only 7 padarthas, which constitute the whole of reality. Now, what do you mean by categories and what are its divisions? Categories or padartha literally means the object denoted by a word. Okay, what do you mean by padartha or category? It literally means the object denoted by a word. It means all objects of knowledge. All the objects of knowledge are categories or padarthas. There are 7 padarthas according to the Vaisheshika philosophy. So, according to the Vaisheshika philosophy, there are 7 padarthas or categories. Padartha or categories are divided into 2 classes. Again, these padartha or categories, they are divided into 2 classes. They are being, that is bhava, and non-being, that is abhava. Being or bhava, it stands for all positive realities such as physical things, minds, souls, etc., of which you can think positive realities. And non-being or abhava, it stands for all negative facts like the non-existence of thing. That when a thing does not exist, it is also reality, isn't it? That the thing does not exist. So all the negative facts regarding the non-existence of things are called non-being or abhava. And all the positive realities, that is all the physical things, minds, souls, of which we can think of, they are being or bhava. Now out of these seven categories, 6 are being or bhava, that means are positive realities, and 1 is non-being or abhava. So what are the 6 bhava or being categories? They are substance, action, quality, generality, particularity, and inherence. And non-being or abhava, within it comes non-existence or abhava. Okay, so in total we have 7 categories, out of which 6 are being and 1 is non-being. So we are not going to discuss about all these categories. In this unit we are going to discuss only the categories of drivya, that is substance. Okay, substance. And in the next part we are going to discuss on generality and quality. Okay, now comes to substance or drivya. Now what do we mean by substance or drivya? Substance is the substratum. Now what do you mean by substratum? It is the foundation, the basis, the support. Okay, so substance is the substratum, that is the foundation, the basis, the support of qualities and actions, and the material cause of composite things. For example, a cloth is a composite thing formed by the combination of a number of threads of a certain color. So the threads are the material or constitutive causes of the cloth, because it is made of threads and subsists in them. There are 9 substances. Okay, there are 9 substances which include both material as well as spiritual substances. Okay, within these 9 substances we will find material substance also and spiritual substance also. And since the Vaisheshika philosophy admits spiritual substances, this philosophy is pluralistic. Pluralistic means many ways of approaching truth, and realistic. And realistic means they see things as they really are. Okay, so there are 9 substances as recognized by the Vaisheshika philosophy. Let us see these 9 substances. First is earth or Prithvi, from where we get the sense of smell. From earth or Prithvi we get the sense of smell, isn't it? Next is water or Jala, from where we get the sense of taste. Next, light or Tejas, from here we get the sense of color. Fourth is air or Vayu, it gives us the sensation of touch. Fifth is ether or Akasha, from here we get the sensation of sound. Next is time or Kala, from where we can know the past, present, future, isn't it? Then space or Dik, from where we can recognize here, there, near, far, all these concepts comes from space only, isn't it? Then comes soul or Atma, it is the base of consciousness. And last is mind or Manas, and it is our internal sense. The mind or Manas is our internal sense. Now, out of these 9 substances, the first 5 are the physical elements, that is earth, water, light, air, and ether. These are the physical elements, as each of them possesses a specific or peculiar quality which is sensed by an external sense, isn't it? Smell by our nose, taste, tongue, color, eyes, touch, skin, and sound, ears, isn't it? Through our 5 sense organs we sense them, 5 external sense organs. So the first 5 are the physical elements because they possess a specific or peculiar quality which is sensed by our external senses. Okay, now the substances of the first 4, that is earth, water, light, and air, it can be divided into 2, eternal or nitya and non-eternal or anitya. Now what is eternal or nitya? The atoms of the 4 substances, that is earth, water, light, and air, are eternal because an atom is partless and can be neither produced nor destroyed. Okay, so the atom of earth, the atom of water cannot be destroyed, or it neither can be produced, okay, because it is the tiniest thing. So earth, water, light and air, the atoms of these four substances are eternal or nitya. But all other kinds of earth, water, all these are non-eternal. Why? As they are formed by combination of atoms and are subjected to destruction. So all the things formed out of combination of the atoms of earth, from the combinations of atoms of water, light, okay, all those are formed from the combination of the atoms of these four substances are non-eternal or anitya. Why? Because they are combined, and as they are combined they can be destroyed, isn't it? So they are non-eternal or anitya. Now how the existence of this nitya or the atoms can be proved? The existence of atom is proved by inference. By inference we can prove the existence of the atoms. For example, objects like jars, tables and chairs are made up of parts. So the objects like jars, tables and chairs, they are made up of parts. And if we separate the parts of any composite thing, we shall pass from larger to smaller, from smaller to still smaller, and from these to the smallest parts, which cannot be further divided in any way. Okay? And these indivisible and minutest parts are called pramanas, or these indivisible and minutest parts are called paramanus or atoms. Okay? So through this we can prove, through our inference we can prove the existence of the atoms. Okay? Because these objects like tables, jars, they are made up of parts and they can be broken, and the smallest, the minutest part, that which cannot be broken anymore or divided anymore, so that indivisible and minutest parts are called paramanus or atoms. Now ether. Ether is the fifth physical substance, and it is the substratum of the quality of sound. While sound is perceived, akasha cannot be perceived. Every quality must belong to something, and sound is not a quality of the earth, nor water, nor air, nor light, or nor it belong as quality to space, time, soul and mind, isn't it? So there must be some other substance of which the sound is the quality, and that other substance is akasha or ether. So though akasha cannot be perceived, it can be inferred, okay, because sound, to have a substratum, it needs, isn't it, it needs a substance, and akasha is the substance or the substratum of the quality of the sound. Then space or dik. Space or dik is the ground of our cognition of here and there, near and far, isn't it? We say na, come here, go there, he is nearby. How can we say? Because we have space in this universe, isn't it? So from there only the concepts, the cognitions of here and there, near and far has come. Then the next is time or kala. Time or kala is the cause of our cognition of past, present, future, older, younger, etc. Isn't it? So our cognitions of this past, present has come from where? From the substance of time or kala. Now comes the soul or atma. The soul or atma is the substratum of the phenomena of consciousness. Now this soul or atma may be of two types: individual soul and supreme soul. Individual soul is also called jivatma, and the supreme soul may also be called as paramatma. Now individual soul, what is individual soul? It is the mentally perceived as possessing some quality. It is many being different in different bodies. So we all are individual souls, you, me, okay? Because it is the mentally perceived as possessing some quality, the individual souls. And it is many being different in different bodies. Now what is the Supreme Soul or Paramatma? The Supreme Soul or Paramatma, it is one and is inferred as the creator of the world. The Paramatma, that is, which we may say God or Brahma. Okay? So this is the Supreme Soul or Paramatma, who is inferred as the creator of the world. And last substance, that is mind or manas. It is the internal sense for the perception of the individual soul and its qualities like pleasure and pain. Just as in the perception of the external objects of the world, we require the external senses, so in the perception of internal objects like the soul, cognition, feeling and willing, there must be an internal sense, and this internal sense is manas or mind. Now how can the existence of mind or manas can be proved? Although the 5 external senses may be in contact with their respective objects, at the same time we have not simultaneous perception of color, touch, sound, taste and smell. Now for example, when talking to a friend, our eyes are in the facial expression of the friend, ears with the sounds outside, skin is in contact with the clothes we are wearing. But we do not get all these perceptions at the same time. So above the external senses and their objects, there must be some other cause which limits the number of perceptions to one at a time, an order of perception one after another and not all together. And of all the different objects we perceive, we attend to that to which we turn or fix our mind. Thus, we must admit the existence of manas as an eternal sense, isn't it? Though we do many things at the same time, we only perceive what? To which our mind is fixed, isn't it? We only come to know only that thing upon which our mind is fixed. So from that we can prove the existence of manas, which is our internal sense. Okay? So the first part of this unit ends here. So let us just revise what we have done today. Okay? Just a small revision. So first of all, we had a brief introduction of what is Vaisheshika philosophy. Is one of the Astika school of Indian philosophy. Okay? And its philosophy is not directly based on the Vedas. They only show the harmony of their own thoughts with that of the Vedas. The word Vaisheshika is derived from Vishesha, and Vishesha means particularity or distinguishing feature. The founder of Vaisheshika philosophy is Conada. Okay? And the main text of this Vaisheshika philosophy is Vaisheshika Sutra of Conada. After that, we saw the similarities and the differences between Vaisheshika and Nyaya philosophies. So both Nyaya and Vaisheshika philosophy, they have the same end in view, that is liberation of the individual self. Both of the schools accepts ignorance as the root cause of all pains and suffering, and both the schools holds that liberation is to be attained through a right knowledge of reality. Only when we have a right knowledge of reality, liberation can be attained. The differences between these two schools are that Nyaya accepts 4 independent sources of knowledge, but the Vaisheshika recognizes only 2 independent sources of knowledge, that is perception and inference. And the second difference between these two schools are that the Nyayikas, they gives a list of 16 padarthas, okay, according to which they cover the whole of the reality. These 16 padarthas, according to the Nyayikas, it covers the whole of reality. but the Vaisheshika, they recognize only 7 padarthas which constitute the whole reality. Then we come to know what do we mean by category. So category, it literally means the object denoted by a word. And there are 7 categories as recognized by the Vaisheshika philosophy. Okay. So again these 7 padarthas or categories are divided into 2 classes, bhava and abhava. Out of the 7, 6 are bhava and 1 is abhava. Within bhava comes substance, action, quality, generality, particularity and inherence, and within abhava comes non-existence. Okay. After that we come to discuss substance, that is draivya. Now what is substance? It is the substratum, that is the foundation, the basis, the support of all the qualities and actions, and it is the material cause of all the composite things. And the substance, they include both material and spiritual substances. And since it admits of spiritual substance, the Vaisheshika philosophy is both pluralistic and realistic. So then again we discussed that the Vaisheshika philosophy, they recognize 7 substances, and these 7 substances are earth, water, light, air, ether, time, space, soul and mind. Okay. And out of these 9 substances, the first 5 are physical elements. Why? As each of them possesses a specific or peculiar quality which is sensed by an external sense. Then again out of these 7, the first 4, earth, water, light and air, they are again divided into 2, eternal and non-eternal. Okay. Then we have also discussed how the existence of atom is proved, that is by inference. Then we have discussed ether. Though ether cannot be perceived, still as sound requires a substratum, so we have inferred ether or akasha as the substance or the substratum of sound. Then we discussed about space, time as substances. Then we also came to know that what is the substance of soul or atma, okay, and what are the different kinds of soul or atma, that is individual soul and supreme soul. Then we discuss mind or manas as a substance. Okay. After that we also discussed about the proofs for the existence of manas, how the existence of mind or manas can be proved. We have discussed. So hope you have understood. In the next part of this unit, we are going to discuss on samanya and guna as categories of Vaisheshika. Thank you.